The Wade Wilson case is a complex and tragic story that has captured public attention, mainly due to the release of additional body cam footage showing Wilson's behavior after committing 2 murders. This case involves the brutal killings of Christine Melton and Diane Ruse in Cape Coral, Florida, and has been marked by disturbing evidence, a controversial trial, and significant media coverage. Wade Wilson, a man with a troubled past and a history of legal issues, was charged with the murders of Christine Melton and Diane Ruse in 2019. Both women were strangled, and their deaths were closely linked in time and manner, prompting a swift investigation that led authorities to Wilson. At the time of the murders, Wilson was already on probation for previous offenses, highlighting his ongoing entanglement with the law. The nature of these crimes shocked the community, not only because of their brutality, but also because of the perceived randomness and senselessness of the attacks. Melton was found dead in her home, and days later, Ruse's body was discovered in a wooded area. The connection between the 2 murders became clear as evidence pointed towards Wilson, who was subsequently arrested and charged. The release of additional body cam footage added a new layer of understanding to Wilson's actions and state of mind immediately following the murders. In this footage, Wilson is seen shirtless and behaving erratically inside his vehicle. He interacts with law enforcement in a defiant and non-cooperative manner, driving away from the officers despite their commands. This footage has been widely shared on platforms like YouTube and TikTok, where it has sparked considerable discussion about Wilson's mental state and the appropriate legal response to his actions. The footage provides a raw look at Wilson's demeanor during a critical time, revealing his apparent disregard for the seriousness of the situation. His actions, such as refusing to follow police commands and driving off, suggest a lack of awareness or concern for the consequences, which was a point of focus during his trial. During Wade Wilson's trial, his defense team attempted to mitigate his responsibility for the murders by presenting evidence that he might suffer from brain damage. Defense neurologist Dr. Mark Rubino testified that Wilson's brain scans indicated possible impairments that could affect his decision-making and impulse control. According to Dr. Rubino, these neurological issues might have contributed to Wilson's erratic and violent behavior, potentially reducing his culpability. However, the prosecution countered this argument by presenting their expert, Dr. Thomas Coyne, a medical examiner who disputed the defense's claims. Dr. Coyne reviewed the same brain scans and concluded that no significant abnormalities would explain Wilson's actions. He argued that people are capable of committing heinous acts without any underlying brain damage, emphasizing that Wilson's behavior was a choice rather than a symptom of a neurological condition. This difference in expert opinions highlighted the challenges in using mental health defenses in criminal cases, as it can be difficult to draw clear connections between brain function and specific actions. After hearing the evidence and arguments from both sides, the jury deliberated on the appropriate sentence for Wilson. The prosecution argued that Wilson not only killed his victims but did so in a ruthless and premeditated manner. They highlighted aggravating factors such as Wilson's prior criminal record, the fact that he was on probation at the time of the murders, and the deliberate and calculated way in which he carried out the attacks. The jury ultimately recommended the death penalty for Wilson, finding that the aggravating factors outweighed any mitigating circumstances presented by the defense. The vote was 9-3 in favor of the death penalty for the murder of Christine Melton and 10-2 for the murder of Diane Ruse. This decision underscored the jury's belief that Wilson's actions were criminal and deserved the most severe punishment available under the law. In a final attempt to spare Wilson from the death penalty, his defense team presented a plea for mercy from his adoptive parents. They expressed deep sorrow for the pain their son had caused and asked the court to consider a life sentence rather than execution. They argued that a death sentence would not bring back the victims and would only add to the tragedy that had already occurred. The defense also pointed to Wilson's troubled upbringing and potential mental health issues as reasons for leniency. Despite this plea, the judge upheld the jury's recommendation, affirming the death penalty for Wilson. This outcome reflected the court's agreement with the prosecution's portrayal of Wilson as a dangerous individual whose actions warranted the most severe consequences. The judge's decision was also influenced by the community's need for justice for the victims and their families who had endured a painful and traumatic experience due to Wilson's crimes. The Wade Wilson case has been extensively covered in the media, with news outlets and court reporting platforms like Court TV providing detailed accounts of the trial and the surrounding circumstances. The release of the additional body cam footage played a significant role in shaping public perception of the case. Many viewers were struck by Wilson's apparent lack of remorse and his erratic behavior, which seemed to align with the prosecution's portrayal of him as a dangerous and unrepentant individual. The case sparked widespread discussion and debate on social media, with many people expressing their horror at the details of the crimes and their support for the jury's decision. Platforms like TikTok and YouTube allow the public to view the body cam footage directly, contributing to a broader understanding of the events and Wilson's demeanor during his arrest. The case also raised important questions about the role of mental health in the criminal justice system. While some commentators sympathized with the defense's argument that neurological issues might have influenced Wilson's actions, others felt that the evidence of brain damage was insufficient to excuse his behavior. This divide reflects a broader societal debate about how mental health should be considered in legal proceedings, particularly in cases involving severe crimes like murder. The Wade Wilson case is not just a story of crime and punishment. It also highlights broader issues within the criminal justice system, particularly concerning the handling of defendants with potential mental health problems. Wilson's defense attempted to use brain scans and expert testimony to argue that factors beyond his control influenced his actions. This approach raises important questions about the extent to which mental health and neurological conditions should influence legal outcomes. In recent years, there has been growing recognition of the need for more nuanced approaches to mental health in the criminal justice system. Cases like Wilson's underscore the challenges of balancing a fair assessment of a defendant's mental state with the need to hold individuals accountable for their actions. While mental health defenses can provide important context, they do not always absolve individuals of responsibility, and the line between explanation and excuse can be difficult to navigate. The Wade Wilson case serves as a stark reminder of the complexities involved in adjudicating crimes where mental health issues are a factor. The defense attempt to link Wilson's behavior to brain damage illustrates the ongoing challenges in understanding the relationship between neurological conditions and criminal actions. Although the defense's arguments did not ultimately sway the jury, they highlighted the need for continued exploration of how mental health is addressed in the legal system. The case also underscores the impact of media in shaping public perception of criminal cases. The widespread dissemination of body cam footage allowed the public to engage directly with the evidence, contributing to a more informed but emotionally charged response. As cases like Wilson's continue to be covered in the media, the intersection of legal processes, public opinion, and media representation will remain a critical area of focus. The Wade Wilson case is a tragic and complex narrative that reflects the darker aspects of human behavior and the challenges of seeking justice in a flawed system. From the shocking murders of Christine Knowlton and Diane Ruse to the intense courtroom battles over Wilson's mental state, this case has captured public attention and prompted important discussions about crime, punishment, and mental health. The additional body cam footage provided a stark visual account of Wilson's actions and demeanor, contributing to the public's understanding of the case and influencing the broader discourse around it. As the legal system continues to grapple with cases involving mental health defenses, the lessons learned from Wilson's trial will likely inform future approaches to similar situations, underscoring the need for a balanced and informed perspective in the pursuit of justice.